Hey, welcome back to Stack Keto, where we make work right at home. I'm Justin, also known as the Spreadsheets Guru. For those of you who've been part of this channel since it started, you know that the roots of this channel really go back to Google Sheets. Mostly because I've been using Google Sheets and Excel basically since like my corporate days. We're talking like a long time ago. We're not going to get into how old I am. Every once in a while, we got to do Google Sheets. So today in our series that features one of my favorite tools. Yes, even in today's age of AI, still remains a favorite of mine. Actually, if anything, I've actually started using AI and Google Sheets together, and that really has been a lot of fun. So one thing that I want to go over today, speaking of which, I actually used ChatGPT to come up with what we're calling a solopreneur dashboard. Basically, you're running the business by yourself, you're doing it from home, and there's a lot of things you got to track. You got to track revenue, leads, starting CRM, especially when it's kind of early on in the business, what kind of content you're going to be doing, tracking one of your social medias. In this case, we'll do YouTube today, and tools like the common subscriptions and expenses that you're going to encounter every single month. And one of the things that I wanted to look at with that is if we're going to have ChatGPT come up with a spreadsheet, it's going to have a whole dashboard in there of things to track. What would that look like? So I actually just had it spit one out and I pasted it into each tab of this dashboard. So these numbers they're all made up. What we really want is like a good starting point so we can make this dashboard really pop. Honestly, as you guys also know, I really hate having just this to look at. I think this is as ugly as they come. So part of this channel is also going to be me cleaning up really nasty looking spreadsheets and overall just dealing with my self-inflicted Google Sheets knobbiness. So let's start with revenue. This is going to be like our tab, figuring out where is our money coming from, who's it coming from. And here's the first thing I really want to do. I can just easily convert this to a table. There's only one thing I don't super love. I just don't really like that green. So we're going to kind of do this for Stack Keto, like as far as like what branding I want to go for. Whereas this is a little bit more of a Stack Keto red color. And I actually kind of like the alternating color here, but that's how we would do it with this table. So some other features I can do is I can go ahead and change to a condensed view, which is kind of nice. I can give it a footer, which I'm going to do here because this is revenue. And that's not a problem because as I decide I want to add in more stuff, I can just go ahead and boom, add in rows, no problem. So if I go, okay, a customer, we'll just call them, we're just going to go like ABC company. Generic, but we're rolling with it. So the next thing is offer. We're going to say we are going to do full website redesign for them. And this was a referral. And then I'm going to say the amount is going to be $6,000. This is going to be for 8-page website with Stripe checkout. Like just to kind of throw in just something there. I can add more if I want. Like if I want to add another column, I can add it right here. And just say notes. We're also going to say deadline for delivery or delivery deadline. It's probably cleaner. I need to have this done by, we'll just say January 31st. That's when we decided this is going to happen. So that's just one way I would probably clean that up. I also don't really want to have all this excess right here. I'm going to have it later when I add in a bunch of rows. And if I want to do this even faster, I can just go insert rows, and be good to go. Also, I kind of like highlighting in bold who that is. I do like having on websites, it's called sticky headers, but this is just frozen on Google Sheets. Once I have enough of these, that I've created enough rows, that stays with me, and I really like it when it does that. I might actually change this for conditional formatting. So if this is let's go, if this equals YouTube, we'll make it kind of maybe a YouTube red. Probably not their official YouTube red, but that's what we're going to go with. If it's equal to, or even maybe just contain, so I don't have to type it all out. I'm just going to do it that way. The text contains linked. So for LinkedIn, we're going to make it sort of like that blue color. All right, cool. And then the offer, actually notes. I usually just do this because I prefer it that way to make it stand out a little. Italicize that. Perfect. I actually like that a lot better for my dashboard. Now let's go to the leads CRM. So we're going to take this and convert it to a table as well and change the format on this too. All right, I can also change this to be exactly the same. So I'm going to also make this a condensed view. And I also really don't like having all this extra stuff here. Something that Excel doesn't really do, but Google Sheets does, is let you clean up all that extra space. A lot more efficient. So this one, I'm actually going to have the name be bolded. I probably do. Here's actually something else I realized I want to do. I don't really like the Roboto as much as I like Lexend. That's just a preference of mine, but I'm going to do Lexend for the font. And I'm going to do it here too. All right, so we've got a couple of people we're throwing in here. So we're going to say today we got a new client, Tom Brady, ABC Company. And source, this came from, we're going to do referral. So I don't really want to redo that all over again. So I'm just going to go like that. And voila. Ooh, I've got a new one, Instagram. I need to update that one now. So let's go. I'm going to do it this way. Let's do conditional formatting. We're going to add another rule. This time contains Instagram. Okay, great. Overall, it's a CRM. It is pretty simple, but here's the thing. I've got this where it copied and pasted in just like this, but I'm going to go ahead and create another one here. I'm going to call this settings tab. This is going to be for status. I'm going to use the unique formula to get rid of any duplicates. Okay, now let's copy that. I'm going to get rid of that now. Paste values only. We can get rid of that. That was just so that I could go ahead and say this is going to be my status zone. I'm actually going to name this because it's just easier to find it later. So let's go ahead and call it status. So we'll go back to revenue. I could probably do this for source too. In fact, I should. I'm going to add rule, drop down from a range, status. And now, voila. So anytime I change it, it's going to be that. So this person is going to be new. Thank you, Tom Brady. Next step, we're going to just say send, follow-up email. Next step date, boom, estimated value. This is going to be, we'll make it the biggest one yet, 25K. Notes has a really cool idea. I don't know, we'll throw that in there. We're literally just filling this stuff in right now. Love it. And I can go ahead and add some more just so that I have some when I need it. I do like the idea of cleaning this up though. The channel referral thing, and since I have more here, let's do the exact same thing in settings. So I'm going to change that. Yes, we're going to use unique one more time. I like that. And paste values. That goes up to Instagram. Boom, boom. Okay, this is going to be source. And let's name it that too. Go to named ranges, name this source. So that when I go here, data validation, add rule, have it come from drop down. We're going to call this source. I think it's not a bad idea to have multiple selections on the source just because there's a chance that I might have someone who comes from two different sources. Yeah, it's enough of a chance that I'm just going to leave it there. If it just doesn't happen, no big deal. But anyway, now I've got this really ugly problem where I'm going to go ahead and clear formatting. It was just too ugly to have that background on there. I need to basically edit this thing. So I can't do it from data validation anymore. So I need to do the edit button here. And I can change that color. YouTube this way. Let's see, website. Let's make purple. Voila. It looks good. I like it. Okay, but now I need to do the same thing to revenue. Only difference is I don't think this one's going to require multiple selection. So instead, I'm going to take this. I'm going to turn multiple selection off. Okay, I like that better. Oh, content. Okay, this is like content planning. And so, you know what? I'm actually not going to convert this one to a table. I'm actually just going to do a simple thing on here. I'm going to do alternate colors. So it's like a table, but kind of a cheater style. And I'm still going to use that same color red, type, blog, and then just basically what I'm planning on doing, which honestly, none of this is actually real. This is literally copied and pasted right from ChatGPT. So we're just going with it. I don't like how those are dark though. So we're going to change the font here to white. Okay, I like it. All right, this looks great. Notes, as usual. I like to have notes in italices. Primary keywords, very cool. I'm not going to spend a ton on this one, convert to drop-down chips, but I do kind of like that. Done and done, right? Perfect. Okay, now for like a YouTube KPI. So what if I have my own YouTube channel? I'd say this one is probably going to be best as a table. That looks good. And as always, we want to do table formatting. Done. I do like condensed because it's just too messy if I don't. Great. And I like the footer because that's going to add up everything. YouTube views, YouTube subs. Okay, website, email subscribers, leads, sales and revenue. I like it. That is very exciting. Very exciting. So here's another thing I might want to do. What if I don't want to just do this by week? What if I actually want to include the month that this was? So I can actually go text. There's a couple ways to do this, but we're just going to do it this way. I just want it to show me the month. And this is actually important because what I might want to do at some point, say, hey, I just want to filter. How did we do in November? Then I get November's numbers, obviously not in the footer, but that's going to be right here. I can just kind of highlight it and go, all right, my total was 235,000. Hey, that's pretty cool. If there's one thing that Google Sheets does better than Excel, it's the filtering when it comes to dates. I kind of like that Excel already sort of assumes months, whereas I feel like on Google Sheets, you basically have to kind of just do it based on the week. It doesn't really filter anything by month. So that's where it gets a little bit trickier. Anyway, so that's how we're going to do it on this one. I just wanted to add that column and be able to go by month. Now, what if I don't want to have to keep filtering to do that? I can actually go Jan, and cool thing is it just assumes I'm talking about months. Perfect. And I want to go sum ifs. I want to sum this column. So that's what the sum range is. Criteria range is going to come from this column. Luckily, it's on the other side of it, so this won't be a problem later. So what I'm doing basically is I want to sum this column from these months with this month. And for now, I'm using sum ifs, even though I'm only using one condition right now. Uses a little bit more power, but obviously we don't have anything generated for these months. But this is the months that we did. So I can look at, okay, we had our best month in November, which is great. Okay, so now we're going to do the next thing where we're going to do Lexen because that's just what I prefer, which I realized I didn't even do on this one. You guys probably noticed, but I just realized that that's bothering me. So anyway, we got that done. I also want to get rid of all this in the background here. So we're going to get rid of grid lines and this. If I don't like the zeros, so if I want to go conditional format and make it where those don't show up at all, I can go ahead and do if it is equal to 0. I just want the text to be the same color as the background. So now it's just only show up if we got revenue there, right? Okay, so anyway, that's just one way I'm doing it on this particular board. The next thing we're going to do, okay, we don't need to do this all over again. I'm just going to be very quick. Bam. Now we've got that all set. This is what kind of subscriptions are we looking at? How much money do we spend on all the extra stuff? So for example, like operations, Google Workspace, you know, everything from like our email to our storage, all that stuff. Hosting, like how much does it cost every single month? How much is that costing us annually? The funny thing is this, the way it gave it to me was actually static. We're going to turn this into a formula, and it's actually even giving me the recommended formula. That is totally great. I do think we need to add for our table formatting, let's go condensed and footer. Okay, great. So now I'm seeing my annual expenses, when the renewal date's coming up. What if I actually wanted to do, I've got an idea. Let's go to settings. I'm going to go today. Because here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that, you know how sometimes it's like, it's really easy to forget that I have a subscription coming up. I'd probably start by actually putting that in my phone by saying, remind me in 364 days that I have a renewal coming up, which is what I'm going to do anyway. But sometimes when I'm reviewing this, I'm going to say days until renewal. I just think I want to see that at a glance. So I'm actually going to say, this is the date that it's going to renew. And then this is today's date, basically meaning from today until this day, how many days do I have left? Awesome. But let's just say one's coming up. We'll go, it's coming up in 2 days. So then I'm going to put a condition that if that is going to renew in less than 7 days, so I've got like a week, we're going to put that in bloody red, pay attention to me numbers. I like it. I like it. Now, what if it's coming up this month? Between 30, we need to go on the high end, and 7. So it's between those two numbers because that's between high and low. Then we're going to go orange, just to say that is something we need to start paying attention to. Awesome. And yeah, let's Lexend this baby. Still got my settings in here. I don't really need to pretty up this page so much, but I don't also need it here. So I'm actually going to hide it because I don't change it very often. So this is actually a nice cleaned up dashboard. Honestly, there's even more we could do to this, but this is a good start. I do actually want to do one more thing, and this is just for fun. I'm going to go ahead and get the URL for that particular image. I just basically looked it up. Let's go image, paste the URL. I'm not going to specify height and width. That's just one way I can kind of recognize which service provider I'm looking at. More of just kind of keeping it clean, making it look a little more professional. So that is now our solopreneur dashboard. If you are watching this on stackketo.com, just go down to the bottom of the post. You can just download this one for free. If you're watching this from YouTube, go ahead, just follow the link in the description. It'll take you to the post, and you can also get the link to this document, make a copy of it, and you're good to go. You can style it up, make it exactly your own. So don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We'll be doing more Google Sheets tutorials just like this, where we'll walk through, figure out how any way that we can make working from home even better. Other than that, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.